This is Iran, one of the oldest surviving nations in the world. For the past 500 years, Iran has existed on the world map with these same borders, and there is not a single superpower that has not tried to invade Iran, whether it be the Romans, Arabs, Mongols, Turks, Russians, or even the Great Britain. Every superpower has tried to conquer Iran, and one major reason for this is that Iran lies at the crossroads of the world. It is the only country that connects three continents: Europe, Africa, and Asia. Today's Iran shares borders with 7 countries. On the eastern side, it borders Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Turkmenistan, and on the western side, it shares border with Iraq, Turkey, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. In addition to this, Iran also has access to 3 seas. To its north is the Caspian Sea, and to its south are the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. On Iran's southern side lies one of the most important and dangerous points in the world, known as the Strait of Hormuz. Around 20% of the world's oil and gas supply passes through this point. Since 1970, these 7 islands near the Strait of Hormuz have been under Iran's control, though previously they were controlled by the UAE. Similarly, in the Caspian Sea, this Ashurada island is also under Iran's control. For the past 40 years, Iran has been a headache for the Western world. But what is the reason for that? Despite having such powerful armies and economies, why no Western country has been able to attack and conquer Iran? This is because all countries know that attacking Iran directly could seriously backfire. One of the major reasons that has made Iran unconquerable is its geography. In today's video, we will explore how Iran's history, geography, and proxy wars have made it so powerful and nearly impossible to conquer. Let's first understand Iran's geography. On Iran's southern and western sides lies the Zagros mountain range. This mountain range stretches across the entire coastline of Iran towards Iraq and finally Turkey on the west. It provides Iran with excellent natural protection against foreign invasion. This entire area is very rocky and extremely difficult to cross. This mountain range benefited Iran greatly in 1980 when Iraq invaded Iran. Iraq's plan was to first capture the oil-rich province of Khuzestan and then move towards the central part of Iran to take control of major Iranian cities and crush the Iranian Revolution, because all the Arab countries were worried that the effects of the Iranian Revolution might spread to the rest of the Arab world. However, in the next 2 years, the Iraqi armies could only reach Khuzestan. They made many attempts to cross the Zagros mountains to take control of Iran, but they were unsuccessful. Eventually, the Iranian army pushed the Iraqi forces back and entered Iraq. But then they were faced with supply issues, because while the Iraqi army was able to easily get supplies from their cities, the Iranian army found it very difficult to get weapon supplies, as Iran's major depots and cities were on the other side of the Zagros mountain range. This is why, after 8 years, the war ended without any result, and there was no change in the borders of either country. Similarly, on Iran's northern side, along the Caspian Sea, lies the Alborz mountain range, which protects Iran from the north. These mountains not only provide natural protection, but are also extremely rich in natural resources. These mountain ranges are a rich source of uranium, silver, gold, and zinc. Iran also has the largest zinc reserves in the world. This geography became even more valuable in early 20th century when massive oil and gas reserves were discovered near the Persian Gulf. Today, Iran holds nearly 10% of the world's oil and 15% of world's total natural gas reserves. Another geographical feature that gives Iran protection is its 2,500-kilometer long coastline, which borders two seas. Bandar Abbas, Iran's largest seaport, is only 70 kilometers away from one of the world's most significant choke points, the Strait of Hormuz. This choke point is also Iran's biggest geopolitical leverage today. If Iran were to block this point using its navy, the global economy would collapse, as 15% of the world's energy supply passes through here to reach Asia and Europe. Now, even if someone manages to cross this coastline and the 2 mountain ranges and enter Iran, they would then face the second largest barrier, the Lut and Kavir deserts. Lut Desert is known as the hottest place on Earth because in 2005, a temperature of 70 degrees Celsius was recorded here. Because of this tough and unusual geography, conquering Iran has always been nearly impossible. But in today's world, the other factor that makes Iran so powerful is its geopolitical strategy. strategy. First, if we look at Iran's demographics, its population is around 90 million, of which 95% are Shia Muslims. Around 62% of the population is Persian, 16% are Azeris, 10% are Kurds, and the remaining 12% are Baluch, Arab, and Turkic peoples. Before the 1979 Shia Revolution, Iran was a liberal country and a very strong ally of the United States in the region. Relation was so cordial that United States used to supply Iran with military jets. But after the arrival of Imam Khomeini, all the geopolitical dynamics changed. You might be surprised to learn that before 1979, Iran and Israel had very good relations. In fact, Iran was the second largest Muslim majority country to recognize Israel in 1948. However, when Imam Khomeini came into power, he voiced strong support for the Palestinians and declared Israel as Iran's #1 enemy. Tehran cut all diplomatic ties with Israel, cancelled all flights to Israel, and converted the Israeli embassy in Tehran into Palestinian embassy. The first consequence of this was that Iran's relations with both Israel and the United States began to deteriorate. But this deterioration wasn't limited to just Israel and the United States. All the Arab states around Iran had become alert after the Shia revolution. They were afraid that Iran's ideology might spread to the Arab states and harm their kingdoms, as most of these Arab states were monarchies. This was the reason that all these Arab states collectively backed Saddam Hussein in 1980 to attack Iran. So after this war, Iran began to realize that if it were to survive, it would need to propagate its ideology to other countries. Because there were numerous Arab countries between Iran and its biggest enemy, Israel, and these Arab states were strongly against Iran, so it had to find a way to threaten Israel despite the distance. Iran started supporting groups that were anti-Israel or anti-Zionist, such as Hamas in Palestine, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Fatimiyun Brigade in Syria, al-Badr in Iraq, and the Houthis in Yemen. This entire network today is called the Axis of Resistance, and through this network, Iran exerts pressure not only on Israel but also on Arab countries, forcing them to think 1,000 times before taking any step against Iran. A recent example of this is when Israel began bombing in Gaza. Hezbollah in Lebanon fired missiles at Israel, and Yemeni Houthis started targeting Israeli and American ships passing through the Red Sea with drones. This proxy warfare strategy has made Iran very dangerous. Now, speaking of warfare strategy, it's important to mention about Iran's drone technology here. In January 2024, when Houthis continuously launched drone attacks on containers passing through the Red Sea, France used Aster-15 surface-to-air missile worth $1 million to shoot down a Yemeni Shahid drone, which costs only $20,000. Iran supplies these drones to the Yemeni Houthis, and they have gained such notoriety that even Russia is using these Iranian drones in the war against Ukraine. According to a 2022 report by the American Central Command, Iran possesses the most modern and extensive ballistic missile arsenal in the entire Middle East. All of Iran's missiles have a range capability of up to 2,000 kilometers. In a nutshell, if we consider Iran's geography, its proxy strategy, and its drone technology, despite the Western sanctions on Iran and its relatively small economy, Iran appears to be a country with significant uncertainties regarding its potential. Whether it's Iran's nuclear program, funding of its proxy networks, or its missile technology, there are many gray areas about Iran that makes Western countries so hesitant to launch a direct attack on it. For instance, if we consider the fact that two of the world's choke points, Strait of Hormuz and Bab el-Mandeb, are within Iran's target range, this gives Iran a significant geopolitical advantage. Additionally, both Russia and China are now unofficially backing Iran. Recently, after the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Iran, several unconfirmed reports emerged, suggesting that Russian intelligence and military generals met with Iranian officials, assuring them that if Iran retaliates against Israel, they would fully support Iran. At the moment, Ismail Haniyeh's assassination has raised many questions about Iran's internal security, and it seems that there may be some internal instability as well. We have made a video on Iran's retaliation and what it could mean for the world. We will soon upload this video on our channel. These are all the sources we consulted for this video. See you in the next video with another interesting topic. Take care.